Hello and welcome to Good Night English. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey inside the human brain, a journey into one of the most fascinating abilities our minds can develop, the ability to know and use more than one language. People often think of learning a second language only as a practical tool, something useful for travel, work, or watching movies without subtitles. But the truth is much deeper. Speaking more than one language reshapes the brain itself. It changes how we think, how we remember, how we see the world, and even how we age. Imagine your brain as a muscle. Just like lifting weights can make your arms stronger, switching between languages exercises your brain in unique ways. This training does not just make you better at speaking those languages, it also improves memory, focus, problem solving, and even creativity. And here's the beautiful part. These benefits are not reserved only for children or geniuses. They are available for anyone willing to take the journey of learning another language, no matter the age. When we talk about bilingualism, we are not just talking about vocabulary lists or grammar rules. We are talking about an entirely different way of life. A bilingual brain doesn't simply store two dictionaries. It creates a network of connections that allows information to flow faster and more flexibly. This flexibility is what scientists call cognitive reserve. It is like having extra tools in your mental toolbox, tools that can protect your brain against decline in old age. But let's slow down and really explore what this means. Imagine you are walking through a city. If you only know one language, you can only walk down the main street. But if you know two languages, suddenly you can take shortcuts, explore side streets, and discover hidden places. The city is the same, but your access to it is richer, more flexible. The bilingual brain works in a similar way. It has more pathways to get from point A to point B. One of the most immediate benefits of being bilingual is improved attention. Studies have shown that bilingual people are better at ignoring distractions. Because every time they speak, their brain has to choose one language and suppress the other. For example, if a Spanish-English bilingual wants to say dog, their brain automatically activates both dog and perro. But only one of these can come out. This constant training of selecting one option and suppressing another sharpens attention. It's like the brain is at the gym every time we open our mouths. This practice also strengthens memory. Learning vocabulary and switching between languages requires the brain to hold multiple pieces of information in working memory. Over time, this improves memory skills even in non-language tasks. Bilingual children, for instance, often show better performance in memory games compared to their monolingual peers. Adults too can benefit. Remembering shopping lists, names, directions, it all becomes easier when the brain is used to managing more than one system of meaning. Another fascinating benefit is problem solving. Being bilingual helps you think outside the box. When your brain is used to seeing the world through two different sets of words, it naturally becomes more creative. Let's say you are thinking about the concept of home. In English, home carries one kind of feeling, while in another language, maybe Turkish or Japanese, the word might carry slightly different emotions or cultural nuances. By holding both of these meanings in your mind, you gain a richer, more flexible perspective. This flexibility transfers to solving puzzles, making decisions, and even navigating conflicts in daily life. Now let's talk about aging. Many people fear memory loss and mental decline as they grow older. But research shows that bilingualism can delay the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's disease by up to 5 years. That's right, speaking two languages is not just about communication, it is literally brain protection. The constant mental workout builds up a reserve, like a shield, that helps the brain stay healthier for longer. What makes this even more powerful is that you don't need to be perfectly fluent to enjoy these benefits. Even learning a new language at a basic level can already start to change the brain. Adults who take evening classes, or children who grow up hearing their grandparents speak another language, all show improvements in brain function. The brain is incredibly plastic. It can adapt and grow at any age. Of course, the journey of becoming bilingual is not always easy. It takes patience, practice, and sometimes frustration. But here's a secret. Every mistake you make in learning a language is actually part of the brain workout. Struggling to find the right word, switching back and forth between languages, even forgetting grammar rules. All of these are exercises. Just like muscles get stronger by lifting heavy weights, the brain gets stronger by facing and solving these challenges. Let me give you a story. Imagine a woman named Ana, who grew up in Mexico speaking Spanish. When she moved to the United States at age 30, she struggled with English. At first, it was exhausting. Ordering coffee, asking for directions, reading signs, all of it felt like a daily test. But slowly, her brain adapted. After a few years, she noticed that not only was she comfortable in English, but her memory was sharper. She could switch between tasks at work more easily. She even felt more confident in problem solving. What Ana experienced is exactly what scientists describe. Bilingualism is like mental cross-training. Just as athletes train in different sports to improve overall performance, language learners train their brains in ways that improve life far beyond language itself. This brings us to another hidden benefit: empathy. When you learn another language, you are not just memorizing words. You are stepping into another culture's way of seeing the world. This increases empathy and social understanding. A bilingual person can shift perspectives more easily because they literally have access to multiple ways of framing reality. This is especially important in our globalized world. Whether you are traveling, working in an international company, or simply making friends online, being bilingual allows you to connect more deeply. But let's go deeper still. Language is not only a tool for communication, it shapes thought itself. Linguists like Benjamin Lee Worf argued that the language we speak influences how we perceive reality. For example, in some languages, there are multiple words for what English simply calls snow. In others, there are words for emotions that English doesn't easily capture. When you become bilingual, you gain access to these new categories of thought. This literally expands your mind. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and suddenly seeing colors you didn't know existed. Now, if you are listening to this podcast on Goodnight English, chances are you are learning English as a second language. That means you are already giving your brain a gift. Every new word you learn, every sentence you understand, every mistake you make, it is all part of building a stronger, more flexible mind. Remember, you are not just learning English. You are building mental strength, protecting your brain for the future, and opening doors to new ways of thinking. So far, we've explored how bilingualism improves attention, memory, problem solving, empathy, and brain health. But we are only halfway through this journey. In the next part, we will dive deeper into creativity, career opportunities, social life, and even how bilingualism changes the structure of the brain at a biological level. Let's continue our journey into the bilingual brain. Earlier, we talked about attention, memory, problem solving, and empathy. Now, let's move into another fascinating area: creativity. Being bilingual doesn't just make you smarter in a traditional sense, it also makes you more creative. Why is that? Because every time you switch between languages, you are practicing flexibility. Creativity is essentially about flexibility, about seeing things in a new way, connecting ideas that might not normally go together. For example, an artist who speaks two languages might be inspired by expressions or metaphors that don't even exist in one language. A poet can create imagery that blends cultures. A business person can solve problems in innovative ways because their brain is used to moving fluidly between systems. Think about jokes and wordplay. Many jokes are based on double meanings. A bilingual person can understand not only the humor in one language but also how humor can shift when translated. This ability to see multiple layers in communication makes the bilingual mind naturally more inventive. Now let's talk about career opportunities. In today's world, being bilingual is one of the most powerful tools you can have for success. Employers value people who can communicate across cultures. Knowing two languages can give you access to international companies, travel opportunities, and a wider network of colleagues and friends. But beyond the obvious, bilingual employees also tend to perform better in tasks that require multitasking, decision-making, and leadership. Their brains are literally wired to handle complexity. Let's imagine a young man named Daniel. He grew up in Germany, speaking German at home, but he also studied English from childhood. When he applied for a job at an international company, his bilingual skills gave him an edge. He wasn't just translating words, he was navigating cultural differences, understanding subtle cues in meetings, and connecting with clients on a deeper level. Daniel's bilingualism was not just a line on his resume, it was a mindset that made him stand out. Social life also becomes richer when you are bilingual. You can make friends from different cultures, enjoy movies and music in their original language, and travel with confidence. But it goes even deeper. Studies show that bilingual people often feel more open-minded and adaptable in social situations. When you can speak another language, you can literally step into another person's shoes, which makes building trust and friendship easier. This social flexibility also strengthens mental health. Loneliness and isolation are major problems in modern society. But bilingual individuals often have access to wider communities. They can join groups, participate in conversations, and feel a sense of belonging in more than one world. This doesn't just improve happiness, it also reduces stress and anxiety. Now let's go inside the brain itself. Neuroscience research shows that bilingualism changes the brain structurally. MRI scans reveal that people who speak two languages have denser gray matter in areas responsible for executive control, memory, and language processing. White matter, which is like the brain's wiring, is also stronger in bilinguals. This means information travels more efficiently. In simple terms, the bilingual brain is not only more active but also better connected. It's almost as if learning a second language is like upgrading the operating system of your mind. You don't just add a new program, the whole system becomes faster, stronger, and more resistant to breakdown. This is why bilingualism can delay cognitive decline. It literally reinforces the hardware of the brain. Let's reflect on the emotional side again. Learning a new language gives you access to emotions in different colors. For instance, people often say they feel slightly different depending on which language they are speaking. Maybe in English they feel more professional, in Spanish more warm, in Japanese more polite. This isn't just imagination. The brain actually associates each language with the culture and emotions tied to it. That means bilinguals can switch emotional perspectives more easily, almost like having different lenses for viewing life. But some people worry, what if learning a second language interferes with the first? The truth is, interference is minimal and usually temporary. In fact, the first language often becomes stronger after learning the second. Think about it. When you compare languages, you become more aware of grammar, vocabulary, and structure. This reflection deepens your understanding of both languages. So instead of weakening, the native language often becomes sharper. Children benefit enormously from early bilingualism. A child who grows up hearing two languages develops stronger executive function, which helps with school, concentration, and problem solving. But don't worry, adults benefit too. The adult brain is still plastic. Even people who start learning in their 50s or 60s can experience memory improvement and mental agility. It's never too late. Let me give you one more story. An elderly man named Hiroshi from Japan decided to study English after retiring. At first, he struggled. His memory wasn't as fast as when he was younger. But after a few years, not only was he able to hold conversations in English, but his doctors also noticed that his mental health was stronger. His risk of dementia decreased, and he felt more socially connected through online friendships. For Hiroshi, learning English wasn't just about language, it was about keeping his mind alive. So what does this mean for you listening right now to Goodnight English? It means that every word you learn tonight, every sentence you practice, is not just about communication. It is about building a stronger brain, a richer life, and a healthier future. By choosing to learn English, or any second language, you are investing in yourself in one of the most powerful ways possible. And here is something important to remember: the journey matters more than perfection. Don't worry if you forget words, mix grammar, or have an accent. Each mistake is a step forward. Each challenge is a mental workout. Just as a runner gets stronger by pushing through fatigue, a language learner gets smarter by pushing through mistakes. So celebrate your progress, no matter how small. As we close tonight's episode, let's take a moment to reflect. The bilingual brain is more focused, more creative, more empathetic, and more resilient. It can solve problems better, connect with people more deeply, and even stay healthier as it ages. And the best part? This brain can be yours. It doesn't matter if you are a student, a worker, or retired. It doesn't matter if you are at the beginning or already advanced. The moment you start learning another language, the transformation begins. Thank you for spending this time with me on Goodnight English. I hope this episode not only helped you practice your English, but also inspired you to keep going. Remember, when you learn another language, you are not just adding words. You are expanding your mind, your heart, and your future. Good night, and keep learning.